We were having a nice little coffee, in the morning with Aryan and Oscar, and we were looking at there. We saw a field, but what seemed to be a field at least. So we decided that we should go walk there. Yeah, we are there. Woohoo! You can see the plants, guys. Oh, they're looking nice, eh? Look at this. Hello, ladies. Nice to meet you.
Wow. On the riverbanks, eh? This is a nice one, guys. Look at the structure, eh? Pure sativa, eh?
Yeah. This one I don't like too much the smell. You know what? I like the skunky ones.
Seeds of this one.
Yeah. You saw that, Oscar? That purple male? Look the color, how nice. Wow, completely purple.
Like lavender.
Yeah, it looks like lavender.
Beautiful. Check this one out. This is a little bit.
Yeah, this is better.
Come on.
We can see here that the lake is going like 10 meters high, probably after winter when the ice is melting and with all the snow. And that field was sitting at the bottom of the lake, but that now was dry.
Because probably sometimes it's still water.
I mean, guys, look.
Maybe some months a year is still water here.
Yeah, and it
And
used to be
snow.
a bottom as well. So, but look. Cattle is still here.
It's full of,
keep nutriting it. Don't wanna dig in shit, but still, look, soil is still pretty nice. Look.
Yeah. There's some pretty big flowers there, I'm gonna check. Well, this one is nice smell also. I like those big fat leaves.
Oh yeah, this is
Look, and there you're getting the much shorter fingers there. The blades are much shorter and sharper edges.
This is quite a nice sativa. Structure is great. You can see a few the same here. We don't know how this one is growing because it's growing in a very rocky area, like literally 7 meters, like say 20 feet away from the lake. So it's quite remarkable how these plants are growing here. So here we can see in Kyrgyzstan a wild field. It's not the best looking field, but it's very close to the water. Quite surprising, no?
It's a real white field for that.
You see that? You see how many different phenos also here.
It's a survivor.
Yeah, even if you dig a hole in the soil, you will see that the layer is like that, not even normal.
No, that's like in Africa. Remember on the river, like 10 centimeters of roots and they survive like that.
Yeah.
But here they got some kind of
Quite
Yours-
impressive. She can
quite-
develop like this
and
here.
a lot of seeds are just ready, which is really, really nice.
Yeah, look at the difference now.
Sure.
You see what? So we're starting to get that really like super broad leaf from the Afghanistan, Uzbekistan and all this. And here we also have that super thin. So
But don't forget, yeah, when we were in India a long time ago, down it was indica, and the same plant up turned like slim leaf like this, yeah? Exactly the same seeds.
This is 1 minute of just doing like that. It's so much resin on those plants.
Not in the beginning, man. No, the first ones.
Like this one.
Now every time we touch a one,
It's just so sticky.
so they don't look amazing, but they are smelling good.
Exactly.
What?
Maybe not so much frost, but when you go like this,
But
when
to
you go
be
like
white,
this.
is quite good.
Oh yeah.
I know people are growing worse than this in the indoor.
Aryan, what do you think amount of THC over here?
Yeah, this is very light, go, because this is close to the river, yeah? The problem is the roots can't go really in the ground here, so the plant is suffering. You can see that, yeah, there's stress everywhere. Look, the whole yellow patch in the middle there, there's just no fertilizer.
Yeah.
And on the outside, there is a little fertilizer. Look, all the plants on the outside are green.
Yeah.
You see that?
Yeah.
Apparently, that's where the cows or the horses walk, because the water's coming in here, you see? So there's more shit in the ground, and then you can see how they grow.
So you had some patches of the plants that were really green, that had more like organic material, and a little bit more of the cow manure and the horse manure and all this. And you could see that other patch that was really yellow and thin and almost like the really old school Moroccan plants, when you arrived in Ketama like 20 years ago with the land races, a little stick with a flower on top. You see that, Aryan?
Yeah.
Look at those plants here, how they grow. I think here you might have a little bit of hemp, eh? You see those plants that grow like a stick, like in Morocco, in
Yeah.
the old school fields?
Yeah.
It's just like one branch. Yeah, look at that.
Okay, guys, we're done here, no?
Yeah.
I think the horses are up there.
Yeah, Joel's supposed to wait us there.
Is he waiting up there?
Probably already done, yeah.
Okay, let's go have a look.
Fire tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah, tonight we make a big bonfire, bro. Huh? Horses are waiting with Joe here.
Oh, they look so nice in these bushes. Like the guy's trying to make a trap for us, you know?
Real western.
Yeah, so
Let's see if they fixed Oscar's horse.
How's your ass, brother?
My boss is perfect, bro.
Huh?
Yesterday you were complaining. So look here what they got for you, bro. For Oscar.
The king is here!
Pink blank
You're scaring my horse fears.
blanket.
Okay, thanks for the sofa, for the
As you wanted.
You are the best, my friends.
Pink one, okay?
I love you.
Okay,
We take
soft
care
one.
of you, huh? Hey,
Love you.
we take care of you,
Where is
huh?
my elevator?
Where's my elevator?
Yeah, we wanted to take
Thanks, guys,
another
eh?
one with flowers, but this one is better.
Gonna be the king now.
This is special for you. Yes.
To eat me and him.
Look, even cows are happy for you, bro.
Everybody's happy. It's a party here
the
now,
whole
eh?
nature is happy, bro.
It's my party.
Yeah.
The guy's also waiting for you here, look.
I think this one is good for you. I am too small.
The guys told us the first day was already crazy on horses, but this was a different experience. So there was a lot of rocks. The horses really had to jump here and there. And some places were so dangerous we had to take the rope and pull them over. Off? Okay guys, off the horses here. So we did like 6 hours all on the side of the lake, quite high.
We were hoping to see a few more fish, but they had been cut down. So that was really interesting, but unfortunately, that was the only field we saw that day.
The moment we arrived, the rain came down, and it came down hard.
And we arrived before the equipment because everything was coming with a little boat through the lake.
I hope it's leaving. I hope it's leaving because otherwise we are fucked.
And of course, something happened because of the storm that started at 3-4 o'clock when we arrived. The motorboat could not make the lake anymore because of the waves.
Everybody was standing under a tree like this. And we made a little fire that our guys like managed to start. But man, it was cold, it was wet.
Bro!
The rain is hopefully stopping. It stopped a little bit. Start rolling stuff in again.
The equipment arrived like at 8:30 in the night.
So before we had our dinner, it was 11 o'clock, but we had the rice with the sheep, which was amazing. 12 o'clock we went to bed, and this morning 6 o'clock, up to the Nomad Games.
que podemos ver en estos juegos nómadas es que no ha habido turistas antes, entonces nadie lo ha visto, nadie lo ha filmado. Han visto lo que se ve en YouTube, pero aquí hay 300-400 personas a la vez con caballos corriendo, luchando, peleando, se tiran al suelo. Es una cosa que no lo has visto, no lo puedes ver en ningún sitio.
This was the most epic thing I've ever seen in my life. So pure, the people. And it made me realize that still a part of the world is pure, where there's no GMO, where there's no oils, where there's no nothing, where it's just pure living people in the mountains with what they have. Raw living. The day after the Nomad Games, we rounded up the camp.
Final day of the horses, guys.
Yeah.
We're gonna go up those mountains again. Let's see how the weather is. It was raining again in the night, but it looks like it's clearing up a little, although,
Yeah, got the rain jacket just in case.
yeah, me too. So we're gonna go over the hill, 3-4 hours, Oscar. And apparently there are those 10-20 fields. And the guy's gonna make the charas.
Wow, thank
So one of the highlights of our mission, yeah? Let's go to see how to make charas in Kyrgyzstan.
Salam alaikum.
We went up to this mountain, took us 6 hours to get there, and we knew we had to pass the top, 3,550 meters, I think I remember, and they promised us some amazing plants on the way down.
We've been riding like 30 kilometers of horse in one day. Everybody was like fucking bruised on their ass. The legs were starting to be painful. You know, that was the day that you really felt like the horse riding can be like demanding for the physique, you know, physically demanding.
And then we were down and we were like super excited to find whatever we were going to find. And the fields were a little bit small. Dust found luckily some nice plants. I didn't find what I was looking for because Dust and I have a different genetic profile we like.
Oh, what the fuck? Sorry, but this is, I just rubbed that plant and it smells so strong, man. It's like just hit me in the face and I say, oh, this is not the same plant as the others, you know? So that made me really happy, and I got like 2-3 plants that I could collect the seeds that are like that. That's what I was looking for, guys. We're getting the earthiness and that musky thing here.
Yeah, just that part.
This is like, it has something of the kush, you know, but a little different because it has a more sativa tone.
Yeah.
But it got that earthiness. This is exactly what I was looking for, man. Fuck yeah. Oh, that's nice, man. Good thing we went to the charas here, man. And the plants are a little bit younger, so the trichomes are not really present yet, but it's already sticky.
They crossed all these mountains. So it was a really tough and difficult trip and very dangerous moments. These guys are crazy. They made it.
Guys, we made it. Oscar, your first thing?
Cheeseburger, Coca-Cola with ice.
So now we're going to a big lake where apparently there are higher plants. So we're going to go there tomorrow. It's 1 hour drive from where we are. We're going to leave the horses behind here.
We have nice seats. We're gonna make some macros to see how they look. And in a few months, maybe we wanna smoke it.
The next day, I had another lead to some lake. So some guys approached us and told us, Arjan, you have to come to this lake.
Every time we always say, oh, we should have stayed more. And so this time we took a few extra days and we decided to go from the advice of the locals to a big lake. It's an artificial lake.
We arranged everything. We took some boats. Oh, bro. Oh, that was nice.
Unfortunately, our boat was really slow. So it took us like 3 hours to cross that lake instead of 15 minutes because that's what it should have been.
And then we went onto a river, onto the next lake, and I saw like I was literally on Jupiter, like crazy. I thought, never no plants gonna be found here. So we looked left and right, we saw some really small plants on the side, but it was way too dry.
We arrived at the location of the field and the plants were not there. There was like 15 plants left, not looking good, no flowers, re-vegging, completely dry floor, you know. The plants were sitting on the bed of the lake because it was a little bit dried. And yeah, we couldn't really find a nice plant material, no? So we kind of decided to go along the coast of the lake because our boat driver told us that he knew another field. So we decided to go that way. And that's where we got stuck on the lake because we didn't have more gasoline.
We have to go buy gasoline like 10 minutes around the corner. We come on a beach. There's a bunch of people, and guess what? There's a bunch of plants everywhere just between the people.
The shape of the plant is really nice. There's no flower. We just arrived at this surprise field. But look here, you can see it's been re-vegging. So it started to flower. You can see the internals are really short and you have little calyces already with the resin and everything. And then suddenly, that's like probably 3-4 weeks ago, it started to go back to vegetative state. So here we're not gonna find many seeds, unfortunately. One thing is for sure, the maize are healthy here. Huh? What the fuck?
Very healthy, spring green.
How's that smell?
How tall you are, Dax?
I'm like 193.
190, look.
This is like 3 meters, bro.
3 meters something, 3 meters half.
Jesus.
Man, this looks like zombie land for marijuana. But seriously.
Yeah.
This is really wild. This is definitely landrace, guys. No doubt about it. Re-vegging on its own.
Now we're on 800 meters and the plants are not flowering here.
No.
It looks more sativa.
This is super sativa.
It is a sativa.
This one is one of those that flowers forever. Look behind you.
Yeah, this can be flowered. Did you put this in indoor and never finish?
No, you can flower this 24 weeks, you're still not done.
I remember months flowering things like this in indoor, never finish.
Never finish.
Like the ties, never finish.
And there's even trips, there's spiders, there are trips.
Yeah, it's full of
We have to burn our clothes when we go back to our medical facility.
100%.
Well, we went all the way to this lake and crossed it, and we find some fields on the side.
Yeah.
So
Well, you could see some also driving, but they're all like this.
They're all like
Everything's
this.
re-vegging. Everything
they're all like
is,
this.
nomadic
Ducks got a
grazing.
few seeds from them, but this is not very promising to grow.
But in those spots, that's actually the spots where like locals traditionally
Yes.
coming here because it's pretty close to like.
But it's quite clear that you have a lot of different land races. And
Definitely,
this
yes.
is
it
really
is.
different
They're
than in
all
the mountains.
different.
Yeah?
They're all different.
This is
Absolutely.
very, very much sativa.
Yeah.
Look at this, bro, here.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Okay, well, let's keep hunting, no?
Yeah, let's keep hunting. That's the job.
So let's go back to base, to the hotel, regroup. And tomorrow we go one more time in the mountain. We can
Yes.
find one more some
Yes.
good fields there.
Yes.
But the
Yeah.
good sign is wild land races are still all over the country, which is great.
So the biggest field we saw that day was not planned and was absolutely not wild. Well, it was wild, but not in a wild environment. It was literally on the beach. You had all the local people swimming with their kids.
This probably cleans the soil here and all the dirt.
At least it keeps some microbes inside the soil. Otherwise, it's just pure sand. Yeah.
Yes, maybe it's the reason why they keep it for the landscape. Maybe they're just landscaping for the erosion, to keep it from eroding.
And that's what the guys are fighting for, because cops are coming over on these spots which are available for them, and they can reach them. They just literally destroy everything and burn everything out.
Joel told me that in the last year, they are hunting more for the cannabis instead of hunting more for the synthetic drugs and the bad alcohols from the pharmacy and stuff like this. They're going for the joint smoker.
В нашей стране очень много конопли, и они ее постоянно косят, они ее сжигают, наносят экологический ущерб, но толку никакого нету. Наркомания распространяется по улице.
Son landrace de verdad esto, ¿eh? Salvajes.
Salvaje de verdad.
Increíble.
You know, when we arrived at the beach, we would never expect so many plants, because what we hear here in Kyrgyzstan is that the government is quite aggressively with drones finding all the plants and cutting them down. We would never expect to arrive on a beach full of people and like hectares of plants everywhere. They were growing quite rough. It was very sandy, very rocky, but still the plants were like 2-3 feet here and there. Some very nice plants. And yeah, it was quite amazing to strand with the Titanic on Jupiter in the middle of nowhere, come to a beach, try to get gasoline, a lot of people there and a few hectares of plants. It was amazing.
We had another night in the same area, in that same little hotel that we had. Very friendly people, super nice. And on the next day, we took all the cars and drove as far as we could, basically just looking for valleys.
So let's get some healthy stuff today.
We went in that valley, and then the moment we entered in the valley was a field there. It was like, okay, this is a good sign, and we kept driving a little bit. There's another field and another field, and like, okay, now we're talking. So finally on that day, we could see a lot of fields. I see kind of some big flowers. Oscar,
Yes.
mira esta que guapa, tío. Tiene como la estructura
From
esa de espiga, como la Neville.
Yeah.
Como la Neville Haze, pero con los pelos todo lila. Wow. Qué extraño, ¿eh?
You smell?
It's like a bubble gum.
Yeah, it smells like bubble gum.
Yeah,
It smells
it's
really
crazy.
good. Like this one?
Yes, yes.
It's nice, no? Remember we talked about how you guys had different type of plants here? You can
Okay.
clearly see.
Okay.
This leaf, look, the blade is very short, you
Okay.
see? And it's wider.
Okay.
And if you look at the leaves from the males here, and you see the difference really clearly. Look, you see, this is much more sativa
Follow
plant, and this is a much more indica plant.
But here,
Wow.
look here, Ajol. You see, this is female plant, yeah? Look this leaf. And then you look this leaf here, also female plant.
Okay.
Look at the difference.
From all those humans that have been crossing the country with the Silk Road all those times, probably some people brought some seeds, maybe the birds, maybe the cows.
This is your evidence. 2 plants next to each other, 2 females.
Wow.
Yeah.
One more sativa, one more indica.
Completely different.
Yeah, this is life, bro.
It's
This is
nature.
nature.
It's natural.
Nature is-
Surviving.
So maybe one, for example, maybe this one medicinally is going to be better for somebody that has joint pain, and this one is going to be better for sleeping disorder or
Gonna
for
be more
appetite
narcotic
disorder.
plant, gonna be more.
So different components are going to make different effects on the body.
We already know 20, 30 years that also the terpenes and the flavonoids have a very, very big effect on the
The
medicinal
entourage
purposes.
effect.
A
is
big-
very
a
big.
big
Called the
role.
entourage effect.
Big role.
So, but even the flavonoids are even never investigated in our plant. Very little. Terpenes a little bit. We know some, but we only know 25% of the whole plant now.
Yes.
And we don't know how they interact exactly, but we know it's better when they interact all together.
That's why the government needs to really allow people to study that plant so we can use the full potential of the plant.
You need billions of dollars to investigate this and to find the right way. And people need to be motivated to do this. But you can understand the pharmaceutical industry is not motivated to do this for us,
Our government is fully interested in the medical part. So I'm glad that our plants has potential. Right?
There's a lot of potential.
Look,
If,
there
if
is.
it helped, if it will help to my population, to my Kyrgyz people, for sure, we have to keep going and researching.
In 1968, 1969, 70, the first coffee shops came. Until now. So we are talking about 55 years of cannabis policy in my country, in the Netherlands. To give you the facts now, we have the lowest amount of heroin abuse in Holland. There's nobody anymore using heroin. And this is the message we are spreading out. And besides that it is a medicine, it's always a preventive medicine. And this is why, if it's used in a right way, it is the most important herb on this planet. And what you were telling me that the country is trying to wipe out cannabis everywhere, but it's not going to work because it's a land race, it's all over, it will always be there. And if you see how the mountain people talk passionate about cannabis, curing all their animals, donkeys, horses, goats, sheep, everything, it's never sick. And on the top of that, you remember the woman telling us in the mountains? Yes.
He said, she says her chickens eating the seeds never gets.
Darvazalar jauh kaldı, bozduk. Hani jayloğa geçmeseydi, ana uşundan etkenden, uşundan da kişine kaynak soğan mal kurtardık.
In the COVID moment, they were living here.
Yes.
And they were boiling it and drinking it. No COVID.
Kaynak suya kişine salıp jaldıranır.
Yes. They take some leaves, put in a boiled water and drink it.
Yine bula dizdi ki ondan kişine çi. Nday kılıp çok ana bolboy.
Da.
Anda bolboy. Ana mınday boğusu menen orup alıp dur. Ana kışta mallarda çütkürüt ko. Oşoğa kişinden kaynak suya alıp versek çütkürбей. Oşo mınday akpay.
During winter time, when the domestic animals a little bit sick, they also put in warm water some dried leaves and give it. That's it.
Does she learn this from her great grandfather?
Yes,
How many years she think this is happening?
They said it comes over like ancient time, like from
Ancient time.
It's a plant, like we said before, it's natural, it comes from the mountain. Everybody talked to it, they said that plant was there before them. They know that, they acknowledge it, and they're conscious about it.
Мы, в свою очередь, мы тоже говорим, что каннабис может помочь многим больным людям, в том числе и тем людям, у которых проблема с наркотиками. Каннабис может помогать в лечении таких проблем. Поэтому мы связались со стрейт-хантерсами, чтобы получить поддержку, чтобы получить научную базу знаний, пригласили их к нам в страну, чтобы они изучили нашу реликтовую коноплю, потому что должно быть научное подтверждение.
This is your medicine.
Yes.
It's for free.
Medicine. instead of burning, we have to make it pills from this.
Also here in Kyrgyzstan, you see like a lot of synthetic drugs coming now, which is ruining the youth. And cannabis is the substitute in the world to stay away from all that kind of stuff. So government should embrace this product. If you compare it, for example, to alcohol and tobacco, which we should not, but now you see, and in Europe and America, you see like a 20-30% decline in alcohol use, because even my kids, they smoke, but they don't use alcohol anymore. And we want this to go all over the world. One of the things we could start doing is like getting medical marijuana into Kyrgyzstan from Thailand, if this can happen. So the first thing we're going to have to do is see who we're going to approach. Yeah, this is very, very important. Lobby is the most important thing. So what is important is get the political parties, maybe the Doctors Association, the Pharma Association, all like the key stakeholders we should start approaching.
We need to help to everybody normalize this and use recreational, medicinal, wherever, because it's gonna be 110 times better than alcohol or chemics or pharmacia. So I'm sorry to say, but you have here the solution. And we need to stop the bad politics, because I'm sure there are super good politics and people who understand perfectly. But the big money on the back of all these things, we need to push against this, you know? We need to normalize and say, guys, it's okay to buy pills in the pharmacia, but this is here too.
It's like almost dense. It's like literally couple crossbreedings.
We want to say here it's much, the flowers are much better,
Yes.
probably because there's a house next to it and you have the animals now. And
Yes. So there is a little bit of care of the plants because they use it in a regular life.
That is the fatty one. Wow, wait, can you hang like this, please? Wow, tiny and dark.
Okay. Yo, look how universe here.
oh, you guys find a nice one? Christmas tree.
Look here, bro.
Merry Christmas!
Beautiful one, huh?
Yeah, very nice one. It's getting purple also, see?
Yeah. Strong.
Look.
Look, the snow. Wow, they are super mature, huh?
Yeah, all black.
Let me see. Wow.
One sticking out here, eh? Look how beautiful this plant is.
Yeah, this is strong. Look,
This
the
is
stem
nice.
also how thick.
This is nice.
Basically, the only thing I knew about this area is Afghan plants, Pakistani plants, Uzbekistan plants, but I really didn't know about the Kyrgyzstan plants. I was very lucky to find the seeds that I was looking for on that musky and earthy tone, which now I know is more of a Uzbekistan trail that's left over probably from the Silk Road era. It's not that really pure sativa like we're used to, you know, in Congo, in Malawi, in Swaziland. They have that really thin and that nutty smell and this sativa smell. There is really refreshing smell. Here is very sharp, little wild leaves, you know, like a little bit more hybrid, let's call it, even though it's not hybrid. The leaves were wider, very sharp on the edges. And the smell was not at all earthy or mossy. It's a really like berry, rotten berry, almost like the strawberry haze that we have, that Hawaiian strawberry haze that is like a red fruit that has been sitting in a basket, you know, kind of. And that's really what I could see very uniformly across all the fields. What would come back was that thing.
But wherever, like you say, it's a lot of influence, and clearly we smell it, a lot of sativas.
Oh yeah.
Which is weird, but was full of sativas, or at least smelling sativas. But clearly should be kind of indicas or rudelaris. So it's kind of weird, but it's what it is.
Our mission was to save our future for our kids. Now we got chance to deliver a message to whole Kyrgyzstan, even maybe for all over the world.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah. So this is how we're going to go on. We're going to help you. It's going to take time. It's going to take years. But one day we are going to get there together. We help the local people, and that is the base of Strain Hunters. And let's hope we can contribute only 5% to the legalization process of the great country of Kyrgyzstan.